In this training video, Jason and I will discuss how to handle the question or the misconception that a person is too busy to build a network marketing business. Now, this one can really open up a can of worms if you don't know how to handle it, and that really comes down to asking clarifying questions. And so in my mind, there's two main sides to this. One is that it's just a simple excuse someone gives so they don't have to tell you the real reason they don't want to do it, or go into details to why they want to do the business. So it kind of be a surface objection. The second reason is that people don't have a concept to what actually takes to build a business, and that's where you have to kind of paint them a picture and show them how they can work it into their day-to-day and week-to-week schedule, and how they actually can make an income with this to make the business work for them. So why don't you jump into some of what you say, Jason, or some questions you ask on when someone gives you this question?
Well, it's really rather simple. I mean, I ask some clarifying questions and really try to figure out what they mean by they're too busy. And honestly, I very rarely use the one where I break up their day and show them they have time. I find 9 times out of 10, at a minimum, it's just an excuse. And you know what? When I hear that, I just say, listen, when somebody says they're too busy to do something, like, because you told me you wanted to spend more time with your kids, or you're tired of your commute, or whatever, they're not too busy. I mean, there's something else going on. And usually what I say to people is, something that I always preach to my downline is I say, listen, you need to have candid conversations. You need to be direct. And this is one of those times where you can be very direct and no nonsense without being offensive. Mm-hmm. Just say, you know what? I just think that's an excuse. What's really going on? There's something else going on here. They're thinking something, and again, they have a mental picture of something else. And honestly, they're just trying to be nice. They're trying not to hurt your feelings. I think in one of the other videos, I gave the example as a guy, we ask a girl out and she gives you some excuse. She's just doing it to be nice. She doesn't want to hurt your feelings. That's why they do it. Sometimes I would just rather them tell me, I'm not interested. Great. Just tell me that, it doesn't bother me, but I understand where it comes from. It comes from a good place. We'll understand, being busy, that's just another excuse. They're just being concerned about your feelings, and they're trying to give you something that's a quick out. And honestly, 99 out of 100 times in MLM, it works, because most people go, oh, okay, well, never, and then that's all that happens. So my advice is just tell them, come on. You're not too busy. What's really going on? Just tell me. Like, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Just tell me what's going on. What are you concerned with? What's going on? What are you thinking? That's what I do.
And that's perfect. And I want to highlight 2 things you are doing when you ask that question. The first thing you said, hey, I know you said you wanted to spend more time with your kids to get out of your job. He's bringing back the initial reason that looking at the business came up, whether it's retirement or getting out of a job. It's good to bring it back. Hey, you want to do this. You're telling me you're not willing to work enough for this. Is kind of like the statement. Hey, focus on this. And then what are you doing after you say, hey, what's really going on? Do you sit there and keep talking, Jason, or do you just pause?
I should zip my lip and shut up, because I know that what's going to end up coming out is probably one of the other misconceptions we've covered. Really. I don't want to be a salesperson. I've got concerns about the network marketing industry. Do I have to talk to my friends and family? How am I going to do this? I don't think this is for me. I don't know if I'm going to be successful at this, which are all, they're fears that are stacking on top of all these misconceptions that we covered. And you keep digging under those and you'll get to what we've already covered here. That's why I shut up, because I'm waiting to hear what they have to say.
And so really what I think most people need to do for this is actually practice. And I would recommend you write out a short script, because you will get this question. This is one you will get for sure. And so you want to, practice, hey, I'm going to remind them or focus them back on the reason they're looking. whether it's to get out of their job or spend more time with their kids, or they hate their boss, whatever it is. And then whatever word track you would use for, just saying, hey, look, oftentimes I find that when people say that, there's usually something else going on. And so just tell me what is really on your mind and what's really stopping you, so we can, talk about it or move on. But just tell me what's on your mind. And then that third thing is just pause and get comfortable. And at first it will be uncomfortable, but get comfortable asking that question. And literally, as Jason said, zip your lip. And sometimes, have you ever had a 5-second or 10-second pause in between there?
It's not comfortable. It's not any fun, but you got to resist the urge to say something else.
Because what comes out is absolutely gold from the person's mouth majority of the time. Because they'll tell you what's really on their mind, and then you can address that misconception or explain a feature or an issue that they're not sure about. Or other times you'll see that they're just a person that you'll want to trash and say, you know what, this person's not worth my time, because they'll hem and haw, or they'll just kind of, give you an excuse, or they'll just say, you know what, I just have no interest in this. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and you don't want to work with somebody like that. You can tell between I'm not interested, I don't want to do it genuinely, and I'm not interested as, again, another mask for something else. But really, the trashing the contacts, that happens sometimes because they say something, it's victim-y. Like, I don't like to work with people that are victims. You might start to hear things that might go, I'm really glad I asked this question, because you're probably saying, well, Jason, what difference does it make? The person's still not joining my business. The difference is you can move on knowing you didn't want that person anyways. And that's a lot different than getting a no.
Well, it also makes you come from a position of authority and confidence, and not a needy position.
Exactly.
Where will Jason and I sponsor anyone in the business? No. We've actually turned people down and said, hey, I want to join. And we're like, you know what? No. We've actually turned people down, which very few people, will do that. But having that mind will then come across, because a lot of times people in the industry will say, well, we got posture, or you have confidence. I think posture is the main word for that.
I use that a lot in the industry.
And that's just, it's so you have some kind of lines in the sand for, who you want to work with. And when I first got in the business, and actually I teach a lot of the people in my organization, so I have a lot of guys in my business, I relate things to dating. It's no different than dating. I'm sure you've probably been on a date, or maybe a couple of dates, or even if you've done online dating, a few messages back and forth with someone where, hey, they're a good person, they're a nice person, but there's just, nothing there, or there's something that they're a strong believer in, or they really want, and you have no interest, and it's just a deal breaker. So there's no point to keep dating. You just kind of say, hey, you know what, I enjoyed, having dinner with you last night, but this just isn't going to work out. And so it's very similar when you're talking with people about the business on this.
Yeah. Well, that's basically all I have to cover on the I'm too busy. I just know that this is probably an excuse.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing to keep in mind. So to wrap up, I would really recommend you do write out a script for this. Bring it back to what their desire is or what their goal is. Write out your word track that fits with your personality, and that is direct and candid, as Jason says. And then get used to pausing and then zipping your lips.